This is just a quick video about two dermatoscopes which really seem like they would be very different, and they are. But there is a common feature which they share, and I'll go over that in just a second. But first, just looking at the difference in the appearance, they are different. One is very thin, sleek, easy to carry around, and that would be the GL. The Lumio S is obviously bigger. The Lumio S is more in line with the size of a traditional handheld dermatoscope, albeit perhaps just a little bit larger than the average dermatoscope. And besides the physical size, there is a difference in how much they weigh. The GL, as you can see, comes in at just over 2 ounces, which is very, very light for a dermatoscope. The Lumio S comes in at just under 7 ounces. So the Lumio S is still, of course, very manageable. It's still well within the size of what we would consider a pocket dermatoscope. But the difference between these two models is, of course, significant when it comes to the weight and the overall size. Now here I want to demonstrate the common feature that they share. And we're going to use this, just a small freckle on the back of my hand. And the feature that I'm referring to is the ability to have a large lens which allows you to magnify any given lesion from a distance. Now this is something I've mentioned in a handful of other videos when talking about overall use of dermatoscopes, but some of them require you to get right up to the lens, whereas the larger lensed dermatoscopes, including the Lumio S and the GL, they allow you to examine any given lesion but from a distance. In other words, not have your eye right up to the dermatoscope. So here's the Lumio S. Now, you may not be able to tell from the faint background, but this is literally the result of me recording above the dermatoscope holding it. So we're probably about a foot above the dermatoscope. And you can see that very, very faint freckle on the back of my hand, how the Lumio just lights it up, does a great job. And then of course, here's the GL. So the GL has some of those qualities of having the large, easily accessible lens, very well lit, not quite as well lit as the Lumio, and also the lens is not quite as large as the Lumio either. But here in this image, you can see a little bit better how the camera, it's above the dermatoscope. This is not holding it right up to the dermatoscope. So then what would I say? If somebody wants that quality, somebody wants the large lens in a very well lit viewing area, to me, the deciding factor between these two is all about portability. If you're looking for a dermatoscope that has those qualities, but you really want something that's just easy to throw in your pocket and literally carry on you, then the GL would be the way to go. On the other hand, if portability is not the greatest consideration, in other words, you don't mind carrying the dermatoscope in your hand, and when you go to see the next patient, you don't mind, say, leaving it on the counter, then it's hard to argue with the Lumio S. I mean, the Lumio S, it is so bright, and that lens is the largest lens that you'll find in a pocket dermatoscope. You'll get spoiled on the Lumio S, but the Lumio S is probably not one that's as easy to carry around on you. Another advantage, just real quick before I close this out, the GL is meant to be like a workhorse dermatoscope that you're using for routine patient visits. And if you think about that, majority of the times you are not needing non-polarized settings. So the GL is polarized only. The Lumio S does have the ability to go polarized versus non-polarized mode. So again, just to recap, if you want something that's light and easy to stick in your pocket and just walk away, GL. If you don't mind the fact that you might have to just leave it off of you and leave it on the counter, as far as image quality and lighting and lens size, Lumio S. Hopefully that helps. Thanks.